Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was the Hope of the Uchiha clan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. And share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way over in Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last part that we left off, as Madara had returned, as he was there with Naruto, Hashirama demanded an audience with Naruto. As Naruto went to visit Tobirama, the both of them spoke, as Tobirama could see that Naruto was itching to kill him but he could not, because if he did, everything would be in jeopardy. So he held himself back, and Tobirama saw that it was causing him a lot of stress and anguish. But he wasn't the only one that suffered after all. Tobirama also lost a brother in that battle, and he was really pissed off as well. But still, Naruto left, and he would leave him alive until he get his blade back. As Hashirama wanted to speak with Naruto. Even though Naruto was not the leader, Hashirama wished to speak with him. So with that out of the way, the father, Tajima, and everyone else came back. As the elders were against Naruto the moment that he arrived, saying that he gave away the ancestral blade and he would be punished for it. But Naruto got angry as he told them no, as he would not be punished for anything. He went and defied Tajima, as Tajima warned him, but Naruto challenged him, as Tajima declared that Madara will be the one fighting for him. Everyone was shocked, as the King's Guard came to Naruto's aid to speak to him about Madara, knowing that it would not be beneficial for Naruto to fight his brother, but Naruto will. As everyone was gathered, everyone was on the edge of their seats. All of the other council members and all of the other clan heads were there to watch this battle unfold right in front of their eyes. As both Naruto and Madara stepped inside the ring, Madara is known as a beast on the battlefield. He was a dangerous man. But Naruto was able to hold his own, even go as far as push Madara to get seriously wounded, as the both of them clashed vigorously inside of the battleground. As Naruto was faster, and he was more skilled with the blade. If it was just up to blade work, Madara would surely lose. But Madara had the power as he released a torrent of fire. But Naruto coated his body in water and burst right through Madara's fire, like it was absolutely nothing as the battle continued. Until the barrier then dropped as all the King's Guard surrounded all the Uchiha clan members, while the heads as they placed a cone at their throat and their swords. The members were shocked as they couldn't understand what was going on. We then had a flashback to earlier, as Naruto was shocked when he peered into his father's eyes and found out what was going on. For years now, his father had been going under the assumption that people has been trying to kill him. Many food tasters has died because his food was poisoned, but his father was too prideful to ask for anything and didn't say anything about it. But they were going after his life for a very long time now, and that was treason against the clan, so they deserved the death. But Naruto couldn't believe it. All this time his father truly cared about him, but he could not show it, because if he did, that would just cause more commotion, and they would use that to get his father taken away from the head position. They wanted his father dead, they wanted the entire family dead. The only person they wanted alive was Madara, so that he could control him and use him to fight off the Senju, and probably die in a battle so they could rule. As Naruto was shocked by this, as Tajima told him that he was proud of him. As Naruto couldn't believe it, as his father hugged him. His father hugged the both of them in happiness. And his father reminded him, blood and fire. As Naruto clenched his fists, all of those head members were gonna die. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across and please check out for yourself. So it's a new episode. The atmosphere in the room was quite somber as Tajima was surrounded by his allies and family. The matter of discussion was the three elders' fate They were currently rotting in the cells. Many of the clan heads wanted the elders to be tortured to death for their treason against Tajima's family. Others want to make an example out of them. Tobi Shamura had wanted to flay the elders and hang their burnt skin in the Uchiha settlement for example of what happened when you cross the head Uchiha. Even cold-hearted Tajima had been repulsed by that, but he declined that option. A few soft-hearted clan heads wanted the elders to be in prison for life, but nothing was picked for them yet, as everyone was still bickering about what to do. Only one person remained silent through all of this, as Tajima glanced towards him, as Naruto was in the corner listening to the suggested punishment for those who wronged him. He had not said a word till now, but his father begged him to move forward, and he stepped into the center. The clan heads instantly quieted down. Maybe we should let him decide the punishment. It was his honor those people decided to harm, said Tajima. An excellent suggestion, Lord Tajima. It's befitting, Tobi Shamura said. What do you have in mind, Lord Naruto? Ariai Namikaze said. As Naruto flinched at the way she addressed him, all of his life he has been called a kinslayer, and now, with this single battle won, his title and honor had been restored. The Uchiha were still worn out to the idea of accepting him back as one of their own, but they were not spitting on him either. Well, he called that progress. He looked toward his family. All of them were willing to accept whatever decision that he made. He already listed all of the options. Some of them seemed even barbaric to him, even in these bloody wars. But he made his decision. I want him beheaded before last light today, he said. Very well, said Tajima, as the others nodded along. The meeting was about to break up, until Tajima saw that Naruto was staring at him. What is it? I'll do it myself. As all of them faced him once again. There's no need for that, Naruto. Whenever we have to execute one of our own for their crimes, we have executioner outside for our family to do the job. By doing so, the one that does the killing cannot be branded a... Tajima paused, as he did not say those dreaded words, as he knew how much it, well, affect his son. I am already one, father, said Naruto. It won't make a difference. Naruto. The clan heads a nearer flinch when they saw the cold look in Naruto's eyes. If I am putting someone to death, I won't look them in the eyes while I do the deed myself. I pass the sentence now. Let me swing the sword. Tajima, blink at those words. Before, a small smile, a proud smile came on his lips. He looked towards Madara, who gave a reluctant nod. Neri, doing the same. He saw that his allies were very impressed with Naruto's decision. Even if the Kingslayer was reviled by many of the clans to this day, Naruto has already done the deed, so it wouldn't change anything if he killed a couple of traitors. Most of all, he proved himself a man and not a boy, saying that he would carry out the sentence himself. If Tajima remembered correctly, it was the old way that his son followed. It started in the old days where Inja would kill traitors, deserters, or people that did heinous crimes himself when he passed the law on them. Back then, no one questioned Inja, even if he killed his own kin. Looking at Naruto, Tajima could not help to feel the idea of Inja reborn inside of him. Very well, you're allowed to carry out the sentence. As Naruto gave him a grateful nod. Father, he then said. What is this, said Tajima. It's a bad idea to march all four forces towards Daimyo's castle. It would send the wrong message, or there could already be laid out a trap there. We were invited by the Daimyo himself, Naruto. The law is clear in this matter. We are under protection in the Daimyo's roof. Not even the Senjus can break the peace there. But Naruto shook his head. Don't trust those three huggers, as some of the other clan heads chuckled at the nickname given to the Senju. But Tajima wasn't so convinced, as Madara voiced his opinion as well. He's right, father. We cannot trust the Senjus or the Daimyos, no matter what the law say. Therefore, I propose Naruto and I go to the capital with a small force and talk about these negotiations. We will check for any danger while we wait with the army near the river. If there's a threat, we will give you the signal so you can either attack or retreat. I agree with this plan, father, but if it's a trap, you cannot send both of your sons into danger. Let Madara stay. I will go, said Naruto. Madara slammed his hand harshly on the table, making many of them flinch. You think I will send my youngest brother to that trap all alone? He demanded, in a stern tone. I can take care of myself, said Naruto. He was quite hurt that his brother thought that he was weak enough not to handle himself. Before they could argue, Tobi Shamura and Ariai Namikaze got up. Lord Naruto is right. You cannot send both of your sons into the capital, because if it's a trap and the both of them get captured or killed, the Senjus will have more leverage over us. Since Madara is your heir, We suggest to make him the leader of our forces that will wait at the river. The moment there is trouble, he can attack, said Arya and Namikaze. Don't worry about your brother, Lord Madara. I as well, and Lady Namikaze will take 500 of our best fighters with him to the capital, and the King's Guard will also join us. The Senjus and the Daimyo will have to go through our corpses before they can lay a finger on your brother, Tomi Shamira said honestly. Naruto was speechless. These two were the leader of their clans, but they were willingly accompanying him to the castle, knowing that they could get killed. He looked toward his father, who gazed toward the two clan heads. A simple look that Naruto understood. You find your true friends on the battlefield. It was one thing to pledge loyalty to someone, but to actually go through it, knowing the dangerous options, well, that was just beyond loyalty. As Naruto glanced towards them, the Namikaze and Shamira clan were the two first to pledge in their support. And now, when the time came for them to put themselves in danger for him, they did not hesitate. While the other clan heads had been hesitant to make the same offer, it didn't mean that others were not loyal, but he saw who the Uchihas could rely on, without hesitation. Even Madara saw it, as he backed down. Then it is decided, Naruto, you will go to the capital as my envoy. I will give you authority to speak for our faction. However, I will keep Tobirama hostage with me. It's a good choice, father. I know Hashirama, and as long as we have his brother, he won't let any incident happen inside Daimyo's castle. And I'll make sure to give them a taste of Uchiha diplomacy, said Neri. Neri had years of experience. She would be more than helpful to help Naruto. Plus, Tajima knew that she would not let Naruto go in there alone, no matter what they say, because it was no secret that she loved Naruto, like her own son. Time skip. Heavy rains pour from the sky as they clean all the blood and the mirth away from the earth. Everything, all the battles that took place earlier, as everything was being washed away. But right now more blood was about to be spilled. It wasn't over yet. Tajima, Madara, and Nero watched as the prisoners were brought forward in front of 3 wooden stumps that were waiting for them. All of them stared at Naruto. As Naruto stood there, he took a deep breath. As he opened his eyes, they were hard like steel as he stepped forward. The rain drenched him from head to toe. Tajima couldn't help but be proud of his son, because he knew that Naruto was not doing this for vengeance. His son was not that kind of man. The only person that his son truly hated was currently rotting away in a cell. And soon enough his son will take that man's life as well. What made Tajima so proud was that Naruto grew up to be the exact kind of leader this clan needed. Someone who could support Madara to make the hard and right decisions. As he looked towards his sister, who smiled back at him, because both of them knew it. Their legacy was safe in these two boys. But for the moment their gaze drifted towards Naruto. As the prisoners looked towards him, it was Ayato Uchiha who glared at Naruto harshly, his lone eye burned with hatred, but no regret. The blood of Indra Senju flowed through my veins just like yours, boy. I fought Kato Senju for your grandfather. I fought Batsama Senju for your father. I fought Hoshirama Senju for your brother, said Ayato. We are kin by blood. Uchiha and Uchiha, said Itami Uchiha sternly, as Naruto's eyes glared down at them. 2 old men and 1 old woman. They looked at him with nothing but defiance. Until the end they were proud Uchiha, if only they knew why he became a kinslayer. Then maybe none of this would have ever happened. But that secret could not be revealed to anyone because it would destroy the entire clan. You betray me. It's time to face consequences for your action. Hotaru scoffed at that. You talk of justice. The man who killed his own blood. And is going to do so again. Kneel, said Naruto, as they all glared at him once again. But they did kneel and place their head on a wooden stump, as Naruto created 2 more clones who took positions with their blade beside the other 2, as he was over Hotaru. Ayato Uchiha, Itami Uchiha, Hotaru Uchiha. Today before the gods and I sentence you to death and treason against your own and your liege, Lord's family. In your final words, the 3 looked at him, and the hatred that he saw within their eyes was something that he would not forget. They also said something that he would never forget. My ancestors smiled at me for doing my duty to save my clan from a monster. Can you say the same? Itomi asked. No man is ever hated much as a kinslayer in this world. I die today knowing that one day you will pay in blood for all the blood that you shed, Ayato Uchiha said. As Naruto remained quiet in those words, as his eyes went towards the last elder, despite him looking so calm and stern, he didn't want to do this, to shed more blood of his people. But these 3 rebelled in the open, and examples had to be made. And the reason why he was doing this because he knew there would be some outrage for the 3 last elders to be executed. That is why he took this, to be the one to do it, making everyone knew that he brought out the action, and he did it. Not his father, not his brother or his aunt, he. It was just like that night when he killed the clansman. But back then he had a reason now, but it was different. Hotaru then spoke, "Kill me and be done with the Kingslayer. You are no kin of mine." The swords came down with a final swing, as the heads were severed, blood pour, and the bodies twitch, as the hateful eyes all stared directly into his soul without their heads. He dismissed his clones and marched back. After throwing away his blade, he did not acknowledge the respectful nods. They were all respectful, knowing that he did it himself, not knowing the real reason why he did it. But despite their crimes and hatred of him, those elders, they were Uchiha. They were family. And he killed them, just as he killed all those Uchiha that night. He had sworn that he would never do something like that again, but yet he did same way. The elders were right. He was cursed. Time skip, as Naruto sat in the shaded bar, as he looked towards the liquor in front of him. As he kept on seeing those three heads severed, his hands were still trembling, just as those nights, years ago, after killing his own clansman. Back then done his duty, just as he did today. But it hurt a lot. To kill people that he was sworn to protect. To take the life of his family, no matter the reason. "You are no kin of mine." Those words ran through his head, as he finished his drink in one swoop, and placed the glass down. Those people, they had hated him. They conspired to kill his family. He wondered if they would think that way if he knew. If any of them knew why he killed those Uchihas back then. Would they understand? Would they still be here if they knew? Leadership is never easy. He looked up as he saw Neri and his father. Tajima sat across from him, as Neri came beside him. Without warning, Neri placed her arm around his shoulder and pulled him into a sideway hug, as Tajima ordered a round of drink. "How do the two of you do it?" said Naruto. "We were 7 brothers and sisters once," Tajima said, his gaze looking sad, as Naruto felt Neri clutch him a bit tighter. "What happened to them?" said Naruto. Neri was the one to answer. "They were all murdered. You know why your father and I hate the Senju so much? Why our people hate them?" "Why?" said Naruto. "Your grandfather was tired of this never-ending war. He went against the wishes of his clansmen and allies, and he wanted a truce, so his children could live a life free of war and death. Your grandmother wanted the same," said Neri. "I wish I could have met them," said Naruto. "They would have liked you." Silence fell over them as their drinks arrived, as they all started to drink their sake. When that was done, Tajima clenched his fists, as Neri's eyes showed heartbroken. When her father reached the peace talk, all 4 children and allies had accompanied him, said Tajima bitterly. "And the Senjus killed them all." Naruto blinked, as he was surprised at that. He was never told about this history of his family. He knew that his father and aunt hate the Senjus, but he never knew why this was the reason. There was a much deeper hatred that his father and aunt had against them. "I watched 4 of my brothers died right in front of my eyes. The youngest were killed before they even realized what was happening. The elder ones died, trying to protect my father. Everywhere there was chaos, and the Senju allies set up a perfect trap. We were foolish enough to go there on good faith. I was able to drag Neri away from the chaos, but my younger sister was captured. They violated her and murdered her, while the rest of us was dragged away by some of the Chimera fighters, including our wounded father. Your grandmother could not bear the loss of losing 5 of her children. She died weeks later. Your grandfather became a defeated man who lost hope. But Tajima, he never gave up. I wanted vengeance, but he showed patience so that we could regain our strength. It took years, and when we were ready, we slaughtered Kento Senju's entire family, except for his last son, Batsuma, who became the new Senju clan head. We avenged our family, but it would not be complete until the Senjus pay for all they done," said Neri. For the first time, Naruto saw a different side to his father and aunt. He had lost 3 brothers in one battle and it changed him. But compared to the loss that his father and aunt went through, "I heard what Hotaru said to you," said Tajima. As Naruto lowered his head, "No matter what I do, I don't know if I can be one of them again." As Neri touched his cheek to make him look up at her. "You are Naruto of the Uchiha clan. The blood of the dragon runs through you, and no one can ever take that away from you. Your life has not been easy," Naruto said Tajima. "But someday, we might not be here. It will be you and your brother. We survive because Neri and I stay united no matter our differences. You and Madara must look after the Uchihas. And that may include doing things that you hate. Madara will do his job when the time comes. Despite his shortcoming, he loves our clan and his family, and you must help him in that, said Tajima. I will, Naruto promised, without hesitation. Life is never certain, Naruto, said Neri. Should something happen to your brother, I won't let it happen, said Naruto. Tajima and Neri smiled, seeing the fire that was burning within Naruto's eyes. We believe you, but if something does happen to Madara, we want you to promise us something, said Neri. As Naruto nodded, as Tajima spoke, if that happens, you will be leader of the Uchiha. I know what men think of you, but there are several that will follow you all the way to hell itself. If one branch falls, the tree can still stand strong. You understand? Said Tajima, as he looked Naruto directly in the eyes. Naruto did not flinch or look away. He nodded. I promise, he said. They were satisfied with his answer because they knew he kept his promises. As Neri looked over towards Tajima, as he nodded. What is it? Said Naruto. Would you like to see your mother? Naruto's heart stopped. All of his life he wanted to get a glimpse of his mother, and the only way to do that was through memories. He couldn't recall his own since Hikari died soon after birthing him, but his brothers and family. Remember, his father never talked about her. Some said when she died. So did the light in Tajima's heart. After she was taken, Tajima never smiled openly. Neri gave a nod as Naruto activated his Sharingan and looked into her eyes. He felt himself enter her mind. She was already prepared for it. As the first thing he saw brought him joy and pain. There, sitting on the bed, was his mother. A long brown hair just like him. Their skin tone was the same. So were their eyes. She was breathing such harshly, but there was a smile in her face and tenderness in her eyes. Her remaining 4 boys surrounded the bed as he looked towards the bundle in her arms. Tajima was in the corner as Neri held on to him. Tears had slipped from the man's eyes. As Naruto saw his brothers, all of them looking so young and innocent, as he saw Aisuna, he tried to reach out and touch Aisuna with his hand, passed right through him. This is your last brother, my sons, said Hikari with a gentle smile. As Hikari tried to pass the bundle to Madara, who was still too shocked to move. Instead, it was Aisuna who took him and cradled him. Mother. He's smiling, said Aisuna, as Hikari had a big smile on her face. He likes you. You will protect him, won't you, Aisuna? I will. With my life, he said. So will I, said Madara. Me too. Both Inibi and Yashiro said. They were really young. They were just mimicking what their older brothers were doing. Hikari laughed as she brought all 5 of her boys in a hug. Her final hug to them. Naruto, she said. His name is Naruto. Back to the real world, it was over. As Tajima expected to see the boy cry. But no. Happiness was in Naruto's eyes. Gratefulness. He knew what he was fighting for, his family at his back. From the first moment he came to this world. Thank you, he said, to the both of them. Alright, now go and get some rest. We leave for the capital tomorrow. Tajima has to finish some things here before joining us. You know the plan, right? I know, said Naruto. Good, said Neri. As Naruto got up, quite relieved. Naruto, as he looked back down, if you ever want to talk about your mother, you know where I am, said Tajima. As Naruto was stunned once again. But he was happy. For his father to put aside all the hurt, the pain, to talk about his mother. I'll hold you to that, father, said Naruto. Alright, now get out of here, said Tajima, with a smile. As Naruto smiled and left, time skip, Mikato was furious as she finally opened the door of her temporary home because the visitor was banging non-stop. But the frown quickly vanished when she saw Naruto soaking in the rain. He was also cold and shivering. She quickly dragged him inside. She got the spray towel and tossed it towards him that he caught. As she went to the kitchen to make some tea for them. When she returned back, he made himself comfortable on the couch. But thankfully, he dried himself first, as she offered him the hot coffee that he took gratefully. Her sharp eyes saw everything. How furious he was when he executed the elders. It was the right thing to do, but it was painful, as she could read him quite clearly. After spending a decade with him, as she saw him, he was in deep thought, as he blew on the coffee but yet he did not drink it. Naruto, she said, as he turned towards her, you remember that you said you wanted something more for us? She was surprised to hear that he was talking about that. I did, she said, as she felt her heart beating faster and faster. And I said I cannot do that because it will put you in danger, he said. And I told you already I can take care of myself besides you're a ninja. Our life, they're never certain. I know that, he said. Speak clearly. What do you want, she said. As she couldn't handle the anticipation anymore. You. She looked into his eyes deeply. He truly wanted this. What changed, he asked. I saw something that made me realize. I don't want to die alone. I want to have a family. To be with someone who doesn't judge me. I really like you, Mikato. You're funny, caring, and never back down before me. You see me for the person I am and not a kinslayer. And I won't lie to you. I truly want this. I truly want you. Do you love me, she asked. Not right now. But I will in time, he said. If it was any other woman, they would have backed away. But she wanted the truth. No dwindling around it and no lie. Have you ever been with someone before, she asked. As he did not answer. Answer me, she said. I have slept with only one woman before. And I am not going to offer any explanation on this, he said. Fine, she said. The next moment, she slammed him down on the couch. As her lips tackled his. This time he did not hesitate. As he went back into it, the both of them, kissing each other as they rolled and dropped on the ground. But it only made him laugh as he continued. Time skipped. 3 weeks later, Hoshirama Senju stood alongside his allies and family, right at the gate, at the fire temple. Personally, he and everyone else would have preferred not to be here, but it was a courtesy demanded by the Daimyo himself, and the man gave them the hospitality that they deserved. So, they had to stay and wait as well. Tsunade had a scowl on her face as she tapped her foot on the ground, angrily. The Uchihas were taking their sweet time getting here. It had been more than a month since the Daimyo called for them to show up, but the Daimyo did not give them a time limit. So they took full opportunity of that by stretching it for a long while. Every passing day did not settle Tsunade's nerves, but Hoshirama expected this. News of Naruto's trial had reached the capital. It was now widely known that he had crushed a coup that was against him and his family, and he beheaded the elders. Hoshirama was still disgusted by that ancient policy by the Uchihas till this day. Even in these modern times, the Senjus execute their enemies, but through hanging. But the Uchihas showed that they could flay their enemies alive, and beheading them without mercy, and completely wiped out their entire clan, down to the last member. All of those barbaric actions has been done by one young boy, who Hoshirama was going to meet in a few minutes. He still didn't know what to think of Naruto Uchiha, the young dragon. The past few weeks he listened on every information he could get on the boy. After all, he had Tobirama's fate right in his palm. And what he discovered did not put a good picture in front of him. Mercy was not his thing. Ruthlessness was though. Fire and blood. Those were the Uchiha words. And Naruto was a perfect embodiment of them. If it was Madara, he had a hope that Madara did this to him. But Naruto, he didn't know. He then sensed it before everyone else. The others then heard the sounds. The first to break out of the bushes was a young boy, in dazzling armor riding the great beast, the fox. Behind him was more fighters, riding horses. The Daimyo was one to provide them because he couldn't wait any longer, and the horses got them here faster. He saw the Uchiha, Shimura, and Namikaze banner being carried proudly, but all of their attention was fixed on the young boy, and the 5 other bronze armor members riding beside him. All of them were heavily armed, ready to respond if any sign of treachery happened. Naruto was able to carry himself back in his good graces, throughout all the victory that he has completed over the past years. He saw that because he saw all the Uchihas, Shimura, and Namikaze riding proudly by the boy's side. He looked towards Daimyo and his royal family. They looked impressed as they saw the boy coming forward. Hoshirama glanced towards his family. Kurorama flinched as he started to bite his lip in nervousness. The boy had not forgotten the recent battle, where he was almost killed. Tsunade was maintaining her scowling and also hiding her curiosity, as she was thinking about 1,000 ways right there to kill their enemies. As Hoshirama could see it, but he wouldn't call her on it, because she would not do anything to risk destroying anything here. After all, they were all under the Daimyo's protection, and there was supposed to be no war, no conflict here. As the Daimyo beckoned his own troops to move towards the gate, as the others, they followed, as Naruto rode inside the castle, and they saw the massive beast in all of its glory. As Kurama snarled, making 2 of the guards step back, but Naruto simply pat him on the head, as Kurama stopped misbehaving. So the tales were true. He really does ride on top of a giant fox. As Hashirama couldn't help but smirk as he imagined a dragon riding on top of a fox. As Naruto got off the fox, and his kinsguard got off their horses, as Shimura and Namikaze clan head stepped forward, Hoshirama watched as a beautiful female came. It was none other than Neri, the infamous sister of Tajima Uchiha. As the Uchihas knelt before Daimyo, It might have hurt their pride, but Naruto was intelligent enough to know who he should not provoke. As Hoshirama watched the boy looked up, and their eyes met for the first time, and he saw nothing but cold hatred as the boy looked back at him. Meanwhile, on Naruto's side, he looked at the man in front of him. It was hard to believe that this man in his early 50s ruled over the entire Fire Nation, long black hair that were turning white, dark green eyes. Something about him made Naruto feel rather uneasy. His name was Lord Reiga Minamoto. His family had ruled over these lands for hundreds of years. Despite the Senjus and Uchiha's fighter and strength, they could not muster as much soldiers as the Daimyo could. He had over 25,000 strong royal guards, samurais, shogun, and many lesser clans that were being controlled by the royal elite family. They were known as the elite force. Neither Uchiha or Senjus had enough force to beat those numbers. Even if they allied together, there would be major losses on each side. That is why he knelt before this man, as everyone had to show the man the proper respect. The city was large, seals were all over the walls, as they were protected. There was a Uzumaki, so no intruders could scale the walls using chakra. It pissed Naruto off. After all, Hagoromo, he named one of his sons the successor, but Injo was supposed to be named the successor. If Hagoromo and his brother had stand beside Injo, they could have been the one ruling, but no. Now this simple man, just because he was from a rich family, ruled over the nation. It was humiliating, as it didn't make any sense when Naruto thought about it. After all, it was always the eldest son that became a leader. But yet, no. Hagoromo did not choose his eldest son. It was hypocrisy at its best. By right, it should be the Uchihas ruling over Land of Fire, with the Senjus acting as their supporting family, and they wouldn't be bound in front of a common man. It should be the other way around, but no. Because of the past, things had set this way. As Hoshirama approached him, Hoshirama was a dangerous man, who could even rival Madara, and Madara respected him for that. But his smile, his whole calm in nature was strange. He was calm. Completely calm. He heard many tales that the man was a jovial, kind man. Lord Naruto. Hoshirama addressed the Daimyo and Naruto at the same time. Your Highness, said Naruto as he looked towards the Daimyo. Before turning, Lord Senju, he greeted Hoshirama as well, as Inama stepped forward to join his eldest brother. Inama flinched, seeing Naruto. The boy was really timid. The only reason why he survived this long was because he was Hoshirama's brother. Naruto had no doubt of that. After all, there was no weakness in this cruel, wicked world. So you're the young dragon, coming from a family that say that you're descendants of that great beast. I find it quite disappointing as well. You even ride in a fox. Imagine a dragon riding a fox. A feminine voice said as she laughed, with mocking in her tone. As Naruto looked towards the woman, she was gorgeous, but her eyes, he knew them. Tsunade Senju, he said. Her eyes looked murderous on him. I looked for you on the battlefield, said Naruto. You would have long been in your grave if I had been there, said Tsunade darkly. It's funny, said Naruto. Your brother said the same thing, and look where he is now. One a prisoner, and the other. Well, Inma, you can answer that question, right? You're out of line, Kingslayer, Tsunade spat bitterly, her Asa eyes looking like she was ready to kill, but Naruto simply brushed it off. Many say that you're the strongest Kunoichi in this country. For even some, the strongest in the elemental nation. Tsunade smirked. Well, now you have finally seen me, she said. But Naruto simply laughed. I have, but I have to say, I'm really not impressed. A vein popped on her temple. Care to back your words with action, she said, as she cracked her knuckles. I knew that Senju women were desperate for a true man. The moment he said that, 3 enemies launched themselves towards him, followed by Tsunade, as he blocked the first sword swipe and knocked it away and elbowed the man in his face, breaking his nose. The other 2 came at him as he disarmed them rather quickly. Tsunade was about to move, but Hoshirama stepped in her path, as she stopped instantly. The Uchihas and the Senjus were about to move and fight, and the Daimyo stood there. Tsunade realized what she did. He provoked her into a fight. As Naruto turned, is this the hospitality you offer to your guests, Lord Reiga, said Naruto. As his tone sounded disappointed, the stern-looking man looked disappointed. That was never her intention, I assure you. It will never happen again, Lord Hoshirama, said Reiga. Hoshirama sighed, and since it was his sister that started this, He had no other choice. Apologized Nelly. But now, he said. She saw. Her brother was stern and there was also pleading in his eyes. She sighed. And she knew what he was asking of her. Do it for Toburama's sake. I apologize for my outburst, she said briskly. She expected the Kingslayer to insult her even more, but he simply stepped closer. I spared your life once. Insult my people again, and I will see that you pay for your mistake. Her eyes widened as she remembered her first battle. She was scared. She was barely able to hold her weapon. All that she avoided to do that day was run, and avoided to get killed. That was till she spotted someone who she could take on. She took her chance that the boy had knocked away her sword. She had wet herself instantly, and she started to cry and tremble, but he stopped. Uchiha spearing at Senju was shocking. That was you? What are you two talking about, said Daimyo, as the man asked without any room of not telling him. So she told them about her humiliation. The Uchihas were shocked that Naruto spared her life, and also the Senjus were shocked at that mercy. Hoshirama was surprised though. Naruto had spared her life because she was just a child, like him. He saw Naruto in a different light. That showed a lot of compassion from Uchiha who watched many of his comrades and family die by the hands of Senju, and yet he spared one of them. It was rather surprising and shocking. But it made no sense despite everything he was groped and taught. He didn't kill a Senju, so why? How could he kill his own clansman years later? Perhaps he was just not comfortable with killing children. But yet he killed even Uchiha children that earned him the name Kingslayer. Yet years later with the Fuma clan, Naruto had offered the younglings to surrender, and he gave them a home inside the Uchiha compound. But in the end they still fought back to avenge the ones that they lost, and they lost their life in the process. As Hoshirama realized perhaps he didn't know anything about the boy, he saw that the tension was still thick and high, and that did not go well for their negotiation. He decided to smooth things over as he beckoned one of his men to come forward. As Naruto's eyes widened a bit as he saw Dawn. As Naruto asked, "What do you want from me, Lord Hoshirama?" The Daimyo wanted this to happen inside closed rooms, but it seemed that the two clans had different ideas. "Peace," Hoshirama said. Naruto was stunned by that offer, but it was not just him, everyone was stunned. Even the Senjus. You think by giving me my sword, you can offer peace? The last time a Uchiha leader offered your people peace, your grandfather slaughtered his family. Or have you forgotten what your grandfather did to my brothers and sisters? Neri asked in a cold tone. Hoshirama did not falter though. "I am not that man. I am Hoshirama Senju," he said, as Naruto saw honest and true conviction inside his eyes. As Hoshirama handed the blade towards Naruto, his supporters and the Senjus were shocked. That was their only leverage. As Naruto stepped forward and grabbed onto the blade, with Hoshirama still holding onto it, the blade was absorbed in their chakra, as the both of them felt a spark, as they could feel each other's power. Hoshirama then released his grip as Naruto took Dawn, as Naruto swung his weapon slightly, after gesturing back. He removed his blade on his hip and handed it to a nearby Uchiha, and sheathed Dawn. "You're a man of honor," said Naruto. Even Tsunade saw it. There was no deception in Naruto's eyes. It seems like Hoshirama earned his respect. In her opinion, it was a foolish move, but it didn't make her worry about her brother Toburama. The Uchihas were not trustworthy after all. As Tsunade looked up as she saw the great fox, it was said that this fox helped him butcher the Fuma clan, and those eyes, it scared her a bit, and it looked intelligent. It was like the fox was aware of everything that was going on. It was indeed smart, she could see that. She quickly joined her brothers. As she stopped looking at the fox, time skip as Naruto stood in front of a table reading a letter from his father. They had called their main forces. If anything went wrong, they would have 10,000 people backing them. And that put him at ease. As for him and his party, they were at Daimyo's mercy inside the capital, as the Daimyo offered them rooms inside, while their men were given barracks outside. It has just been a few hours since he has been here, but he felt like he was trapped in a prison. Shisui and the other king's guard had left, gathering information, weak points, and the shifts, and how many men did the Senjus brought with them. It was surprising to know that the man only brought 3,000. 3,000 Senjus were inside the city. That meant, if the Senjus turned against them and the Daimyo sided with him, his people would be wiped out inside. But there was a last letter that he looked at. The seal that was on it, it made his eyes go wide. He looked across as Mikato was sleeping over on the bed. Well, after 3 hours of non-stop, she must be tired. But he got letters, and this last one, well, it was from Shizuka. As he broke the seal and started to read, "Dear Naruto, I know I promised I wouldn't interfere in your personal life, but this is something I believe that you should know. I'm pregnant. The medic confirmed a few days ago. The head nurse said that it's most probably twin girls. But I cannot say for certain. What I do know for certain is that I saw you again, within my dreams. I know that you don't believe in prophecy or my visions, but I saw what I saw. A shadow, looming near a great beast. Whatever it is, I dare say that you will see it soon enough. There is no need for you to visit me, or even acknowledge these children. But I will never stop you from visiting them, because they're your blood. If they're boys, then you must take them with you, because I cannot keep them despite my wishes. If they're girls, the law demands that I keep them with me. But I know how much you desire a family of your own, and if we have girls or boys, I want you to meet them. If you wish it, I can arrange for you to take them and be acknowledged as your legitimate children, and I can also visit them. Please remember the 3 instances when I told you that your choices will change this entire world. Please be safe. It would be nice to see you again. Yours truly, Priestess Shizuka. As Naruto burned the letter and tossed it into a bin, as he leaned back in his chair, his text was now clear. A father. He had wished for it for all these years now. Ninjas didn't live past 28 in these war times. So, in everyone's eyes, he was an adult. A few lucky managed to live till 30. His father had went beyond that. But given Naruto's timing and his situation, his life was always in danger. But he had something to live and something to fight for. But fear coursed through his heart as he thought about if he could be the responsible father for those 2. As it might be 2. If they were girls, Shizuka would look after them, and he would visit them regularly. But if they were boys, as he massaged his forehead, it would be good and bad if Shizuka gave him twin boys. The Nishia clan would never allow boys in their midst, which would force Naruto to take them, or give them to someone that would look after them. Either option was disastrous for Naruto. Madara was supposed to be the next leader, and if Madara fall, then it will be Naruto. But if Naruto fall, they will have more boys children that could take the ear and leadership when near it, leading and guiding them. So he made his decision. If they were boys, he would take them with him. Tajima could throw at his effect, but the old man knew the benefit of having ears for the clan. Even if they were girls, he would acknowledge them as his own and be a part of their upbringing. They were his after all. If they desired to join him, and they would share, then no matter who stand in his way, he would get them under his roof. He then suddenly paused. A feeling was burning inside his chest. A bond for these children that wasn't even born yet. Was it love? Once he settled his affairs here, then he would visit her. He knew that he would go mad if he continued to think about this, as his feeling in his chest wasn't calm. It was excited, happy, joyful. He slipped in bed to get some sleep. Time skip, Neri was walking with Naruto as they went. They were in the royal hall as they were making their way to feast with the royal family and the Senjus. Neri noticed that Naruto was over the moon. "You look really pleased," she said. "I am," said Naruto, as he patted Dawn. She knew that the boy loved that blade, but that couldn't be the reason why he was so happy, could it? But she saw the way he walked. There was something. She smiled. "So, you and Mikato finally got together, I see." Naruto faltered as she chuckled, as his cheeks flushed. But he then got back confidence. "I want to marry her," he said. She raised an eyebrow in surprise. "So soon? Why don't you two take it a bit slow? I'd rather not our father would find some ugly-ass bride for me as punishment," he said. "Why would Tajima do that? You have always made him proud. You know about her past, and Naruto, she's not worthy to marry into the family, in father's eyes. Maybe, but if you want it to happen, it shall happen." "How?" said Naruto. She smiled. "Leave Tajima to me," she said. You would do that for me?" he said. She frowned, but then she gave him a kiss on the forehead. "I love you, Naruto," she said. From the moment they met up once again, she had supported him, stood by him, and in everything possible, she was there. As his aunt, was like a mother to him. "I love you too," he said. A lone tear fell from her eye as she hugged him tightly, as he hugged her back. They finally parted as he composed himself. As he continued walking, they entered and saw Tobi and Arai waiting for them. Together they walked toward the head table. As Daimyo and his sons got up to greet them, the royal family was at the center. The Senjus were on the left, Uchihas on the right. As Naruto did his part here and there talking, as they were just talking meaningless things, trying to break the ice. As Natty kept on gazing at him every now and then, but he just looked back at her. But she did not waver either, she looked back at him. I want you all to stop this unnecessary war and broker peace amongst yourselves, said Rika. We want Tobirama returned unharmed to us, and we will not start any conflicts between us and you, or the Hatakis, or the Yamanaka clan, said Hoshirama honestly. I'm sensing that you want something more, said Neri, as his offer was too good to be true. I do, Hoshirama said. The daimyo got their attention in his eye, who suggested this in the first place, to Hoshirama. Your conflicts have left my land damaged, and a lot of life were lost, and it has a direct effect on the security and economics of this country. More than that, I've received an urgent distress call from the Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki, said Naruto. The daimyo's eldest son nodded. His name was Senju Miyamoto. They are our distant allies, just as they are to the Senjus. They give us many goods and play a large interest in our trade. Recently, they have spotted several ships circling around their borders. The mountain clans from the Land of Lightning, said Naruto. They don't often leave their land. That's just it, the mountain clans have disappeared. So have many other clans in that nation. Our spies have heard nothing but silence, said Rika. As Naruto was confused, if it was not the mountain clan attacking the Uzumakis, so then someone was doing it, and he didn't know who was it. Something is brewing out there that is posing a threat to us all. If they're coming for the Uzumakis now, they will come for us sooner or later. We need to stand united to face that threat, and we cannot do that if you keep on fighting amongst each other, Ken Minamoto said. He was the second son of a daimyo. Old blood fuse does not die easily, Lord Ken, said Naruto. Do you think our enemies care if our Uchihas are Senju? The Land of Fire is the most powerful nation in the land, and when our enemies come, they will kill Senjus and Uchiha alike, Shinto Minamoto said, the third son of a daimyo. Our war cannot be settled by just words, Lord Rika. Indra was a rightful ruler, and until the Senjus accept our rule, it can never be over. It may take 5, 10, thousands of years, but we shall have it, said Neri. The daimyo family did not look pleased, and the Senjus looked like they were about to explode. You're right, words don't settle wars, but marriages, they do. As Naruto and Tsunade froze his daimyo, looked at both of them, especially them. He looked them directly in the eyes. I, Reiga, Minamoto, hereby announce a marriage pact between the Uchihas and Senju, said Reiga, as he was looking directly at Tsunade and Naruto when he said that. But guys, if you end up right here, if you want something important to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.